Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
We are live.
Man, you're always throwing that recording.
How do you know I haven't been recording this whole time, this whole conversation today?
Wow, there's a lot of content.
Please, anybody, don't judge it. No, I'm just kidding. I did not record that whole conversation, but we are live now.
Hour and 17 minutes that we've been talking nonstop, game management, fishing, hunting, you name it, foraging, predator hunting, trapping, Arlo cameras in the household.
Yeah, I think on my, like, while we're talking about this, I think I've looked at the same, 4 or 5 inches on my phone screen on my Onyx map. And I haven't switched it to anything. I've just been staring at it like something's going to pop out at me and be like, oh, hey, hunt here in the morning and hunt here in the evening.
Oh, yeah, game trail right there.
Yeah.
Because Google Maps says so. Awesome. Well, although we've been all over the map the last hour or so, what if we switch gears into talking? It's a little early, January, but let's start talking turkey. And so I'm thinking, so in Michigan, I applied for a tag for public land in Oakland County, which is a suburb of Detroit. And Justin, this is Brandon Molson and Justin Smith from Tracks and Sign. If you didn't know that you were tuning into us, Justin has applied for a tag. And it's public or private. Cool option there up in which county?
Iosco
County, Michigan, which is us Michiganders love pulling out the hand, but if you're looking at it, it's mid to north Michigan on the east side, right around that Saginaw Bay. So and there's turkey all over, but in Michigan you can only get one, and you can only apply for one tag, and if you get it, which I'm pretty confident we both will, you get to hunt for a tom or a jake. It has to be a bearded turkey. So
when is your tag open? Because like the dates are different, right?
They are. So you have a few options. You can apply for the first week. What's opening day? April 17th, I believe. So that first week and the last week. So like the first week of June. So for some reason it goes first week of opening turkey, and then the last week, which is in first week of June.
Yep.
And then there's and then down here you can apply for the consecutive week, or you can apply for all of the southern Michigan zone, and they call it ZZ, but it's only for private land, and it's for the whole month of May. So a little different here, but I like giving it a go on public land, and it's close to my house with a baby under 1 year old. I want to be able to pop out there, come back in the daytime, or just do an evening sit if I want, or try to get him off a roost in the morning. So keeping it close to home, I think I have better odds that first week. A little more pressure. There's only 600 tags sold for that first tag for that first week, 900 for the consecutive 2 and 3. Do you know how many, Justin, up in that Oscoda area? How many are available?
5,500.
Oh, okay. But it's all, it's public or private. That's so sweet. And you're going to be hunting on both, depending on where the flock is coming down from roost and where they go.
Yeah, I got this flock that if this flock remains the same. So I've been turkey hunting, but I think I've learned more about turkey hunting since like the day we were returning back from Ohio on. I've learned more about turkey hunting than ever before. Thanks, Brandon Molson.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Oh my God, the whole way home. So hey, it kept us awake and safe, and we arrived home safe. So it's good. But yeah, so I'm not sure habitually about turkey, but I will say that there is a very large flock around where I hunted on my property, and I know that it is on state land. I know exactly where they're at, ish.
How many do you think there are in there?
At least 30.
Wow, that's a nice size.
2 days in a row during late season bow. There was one day there was like either 16 or 18, and then on the next day there was either 24 or 27. I lost count. And then I saw them off in the distance before, like several other days, and I'm very confident it's somewhere between like 25 and 30 turkey.
That's cool. You see any beards in there?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But I'm confident
they can't all be hens.
Well, yeah, so that's actually why. So I did see some, and I believe they're not Tom's, Jake's.
Okay.
And I know why I thought they were Jake's, but I can't remember.
Short little stubby beard.
Yes, very, very very small.
Yeah. Arguably, you might not even see it from a distance.
Probably didn't, and then even up close, I was like, "Whoa!" Obviously, that one looks different than a hen, but I knew it wasn't a Tom, and then I was like, "Oh, it's a Jake."
Yeah, Tom and Jake.
So
yeah.
Excuse me for my ignorance when it comes to turkey hunting. Okay, so
no, it's tough. Like when I was out in the field, unless they were in full strut or I could really see their beard from a distance, it was tough seeing, like, is that a hen? Is that a Tom? Or is that a Jay? Like, is it a male or a female? And I struggled with it at certainly first glance. And then when they're in strut, if they're looking at you and you just can't see their beard direct, on a Jake, they'll have an uneven fan because their feathers are falling out and being replaced. And then a Tom will have the perfect, call it half circle, if you will, of a fan, all even lengths. And that happens after they're 1.5. So really, after 1.5 years old, people will argue, well, their spurs are bigger when they're older. Even the DNR, for some reason, have this as like an age gauge, but their beard length is longer, and all this stuff. But I've listened to a number of, call it turkey experts, biologists, whatnot, and there's really no rhyme or reason after. It's very difficult, unless you're taking DNA, to tell just by physical features what is how old a Tom a Tom is after that 1.5. Yeah.
Huh.
So, oh my gosh, it's because they've had 6-year-old Toms that have 1/2-inch spurs versus a 2-year-old with 1.5-inch spurs. Or some turkeys will have, I've seen double and triple bearded Toms out there. I don't know, does that make them like ancient, or are they just 2.5 years old? Who knows?
That is interesting.
Yeah. But it's funny, you go on the DNR website and they say, like, or if you go to the Turkey Digest, for some reason they still say, like, a 3 or a 4-year-old can have this size spur. But the turkey that I got last year had an 1.5-inch spur on one side, 1.1 on the other, and then an 11-inch beard.
Dang.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, that's big. I was gonna say that's a big turkey.
Big old Tom. Yeah. Tasted great. Smoked it for 12 hours, low and slow, out in the backyard. All my clothes, and I think the hat that I was wearing smelled like smoke for a very long time. It was delicious.
Oh, my mouth's watering right now thinking about it.
Yeah. Low and slow. Even got the wife to eat it.
So, yeah, she's been eating most of your wild game.
Yeah, everything that I've made, she's tried. So
that is awesome.
Her heart, because a lot of it's a first go at.
Which it can be intimidating. Now, I don't know if intimidating is the word, but it definitely can make somebody, like a little reserve about it.
Well, it's funny. I got to go in there eating it with confidence, but in the back of my head, I'm like, gosh, I hope this tastes good.
I hope it's still not making its natural noises.
Yeah, I'm like, like, Miranda, this is going to be phenomenal. And I, you know, other than taking a very small piece off the barbecue or, whatever.
Why is it still gobbling, Brandon?
Yeah. Is it supposed to have that much blood?
Oh, weird. I was just talking to somebody about this weekend about, so we're having, actually, Brandon, we're supposed to be doing this too, coming up here, but, one of our really good friends, she's like a vegan, does not eat meat, and she has agreed to try a piece of venison.
Really?
Yeah. So, we're not doing like this massive dinner or anything, but she's going to be
not even vegetarian, straight up like vegan. Like, I'm not having cheese. I'm not having
no dairy,
like nothing,
no gluten, none of that stuff. Yeah. So
she's going to taste wild game venison.
Yeah. So anyways, she's going to, one of these nights she's going to pop over when we do cook it. Cause she lives local. But anyways,
can you give her some strap?
No, I don't know. You know what? Maybe if I'm in a good mood, I'm a stickler when it comes to who gets strap.
I like it.
Honestly, dude, I'm kind of a jerk about who gets that meat.
This person that is like willing to try wild game for the first time, like doesn't eat any other kind of meat, you're gonna be like, oh, she gets the chop.
Oh, Brandon, I'm gonna
get the deer chop.
I'm gonna pretend you're not judging me, but I also think you understand what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Those are the first things eaten at my house, and just Miranda and I got all those. I didn't share with anybody. Maybe, hey, shame on me. I should have shared with a new hunter, but she's never tried it herself, so I felt it was justified.
Yeah, and like the idea of somebody trying a backstrap and being like, ew, or oh my god, this is gross. Yeah. Like my soul just can't take that.
I love that.
Okay, so we could get sidetracked all day. We're great.
Gosh, there we go. We're trying to talk about turkey, and now we're talking about deer, whitetail every time.
But Brandon, I will say this for the record. I am 100% bringing backstrap over to your house, and we're gonna have a meal between the four of us very soon.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and baby Henry's gonna have to try some.
Oh yes.
He'll like it. He was eating chicken last night. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
back on a turkey.
All right. So it's almost February, right? I know enough to go into the woods to hunt turkey and maybe do some damage, but very, very little. So it's almost February, Brandon. What needs to happen? What are things that you're doing to prepare for spring turkey season?
So we just got a little bit of snow, nothing substantial, but enough to show tracks. And it's staying cool today, so it's gonna hold, especially in the woods. It won't melt away. I'm gonna go out for an hour or two and just see some preliminary sign, see if I can find what I saw. Last year, if it's the same as this year. I think it will, but it was a dry summer. So last year there were some like flooded areas on this public land that I like to hunt, and turkeys were roosting specifically in one area. And there's like a 100-acre plot out of thousands of public land acres. This 100 acres I really like. I know it pretty well, and I mapped a lot of turkey sign and tracks and movement and all sorts of stuff last year. And so I'm going to go out and try to confirm that's true for this year. But you're looking for, their talons or everything is very big. So you can't mistake them for some other kind of bird that might be walking around in the woods for whatever reason. Typically birds don't walk around in the woods, but these things do. And a lot of times it's pretty cool. You'll see the strut sign. So you'll see these bird tracks, and then you'll see these lines on either side of them going around from their wings dragging. And a lot of times you can see which direction they're walking or what what tree they may have been roosting from and flown down from. So you're just trying to get an idea of where do these things sleep, roost, and where are they moving in the day. They don't move in the night. At nighttime, they are sleeping up in a tree far from danger.
So you're essentially just trying to figure out where they're at, where they're going, habits. First of all, you're just trying to locate them in general to begin with.
Yeah, they're on the move all day. So it's not like they come down and, like, unlike deer, I have to throw on deer again. Unlike a buck that moves like only a yards or so from their bed during prime time season, these things are moving all over, and they're constantly moving, especially coming up on or spring season. They're looking for hens to connect with, and so they'll roost up, typically above. They roost all over the place, but a lot of times they'll be above water or some marshy area. They like roosting above water, and they'll be, call it shock calling in the roost, and they'll try to find where the hens are. And they'll come down to find their hens, and they'll hang out with hens all day. And if they separate from hens, they'll go be looking for other hens. And so you're trying to pattern that movement leading up to the opener in April.
I never knew that there were so many different turkey calls.
Well, the competitions. There's, what does a tom sound like coming down from roost? What does a hen sound like when she's lonely in the woods? What does a hen sound like when she sees danger and wants? What is there are a bunch of different calls, but and then of course, like when you're going to buy, I don't know, mechanisms to call, whether it's a box call, and then even the box call has like here's a raspy old hen and here's a young chick, depending on what side you use, and there's the pot calls. You're either scraping on glass or some sort of slate with the mallet, and then there's your diaphragm calls. And gosh, there are endless amounts of cuts in those diaphragms. Double reed, single reed. There's a bunch of different stuff, and so that's just the turkey stuff, though. Whether you're trying to sound like a hen, which most of the time you are, and then there's other stuff that you can sound like a tom. But there's the locator calling, indicator calls, which some people will swear by the crow. Rocking a crow call during the day. Other people will really like different kinds of owl calls depending on where you're at. But you get a big, big box. Yeah, you go out there in the morning time and do that, or in the evening time, and you locate those things where they're roosting, and then try to go set up accordingly in the daytime. So you ask, like, what am I doing now? Not necessarily where they're roosting right now isn't going to be, oh, it's in that tree. They're definitely going to be there in 3 months.
So pretty much you're spending your days making sure no one else is going around there.
But I like to take inventory. I can't tell between, but if I can see, like, a flock walk by and I get them on video. So I'm doing a lot of video right now with my cameras, and seeing what walks by where. And so I'll know at least they're going to be in that area. And then when I go back, let's say the night before opening day, God knows how many other people are going to be in that same woods. But last year there were only, I would say there's probably 5 other parties, either individuals or doubled up, in that 100-acre area that I was hunting. And 2 of us ran into each other, like trying to go in the, 20 yards from each other. But the night before, and everything was cool. He went a little further down than I was, which was fine. but you're going in the night before and you're trying to locate exactly what trees they're in. So you don't want to get too close or you'll spook them, they'll bounce. But if you're doing some sort of call, or actually like a real owl will be in there and they're all lighting up the trees. It's amazing. You get the binoculars out and you're trying to see if you can spot which tree they're in, and then try to set up the next morning in the dark accordingly to not spook them and hope that they fly down at you. A lot of work goes into it beforehand, though.
I think it's pretty crazy that you're trying to get the toms to do something unnatural when you're hunting.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't think a lot of people, well, maybe they do, but I didn't know it was unnatural until learning a lot more about what turkeys do. But
did I say that right?
A little further. Yeah.
Okay.
Explain a little further.
Who you want me to explain?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, though, please. So toms never go to hens. The hens go to the toms.
Yeah, naturally.
So when you're hunting, you're essentially imitating hens, and you want the toms to come to your decoy, or for them to essentially move away from their flock, or maybe bring a couple of toms with them and come inspect or come see what's going on over here, which is where you're, creating a disturbance.
Yep.
Am I?
Yes, they have oh yeah, for sure. They have an incredible sense of location. Their hearing is incredible. Their sight, they can see you blink.
That is so
But their smell, unlike whitetail, I could go in there after frying up a beautiful breakfast at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and smell like bacon, and it does not matter. You don't have to shower with unscent. Turkeys could care less. But if you are wearing any color other than camo, or if you make a sudden movement and they have a little eyeball that's glaring from you from however many yards away through brush, and they see that movement and they don't like it, they're gone. They don't care about smell, but they can see everything. And that's why people are using locator calls and not necessarily. So if you're walking through the woods and you're trying to figure out where they're roosting and you're clucking, let's say you're clucking, you've got a little cluck putt cadence going on, whatever you're doing that you're trying to sound like a hen, they're taking that and they have, a very specific idea of where you are located, and they're keeping that in the back of their head. Whether they're going to go to you because they really think that you're a lonely hen wanting some tom love, or maybe you're a backup. You're a rebound. You're probably number 2, number 3 on their list. They've got a number 1. Either way, they know exactly where you're at and how they're going to get to you.
Dang.
Which is amazing. So you don't want to try to locate them by doing that, because then they're going to assume that you're either going to come to them or whatever. So that's why people use things to locate them. And there's always jokes out there like, a crow call is good during the day, or the owl call in the morning or the evening. But like, I think Meat Eater, those guys have a shirt that says like everything that will make a turkey shock gobble, and it's like like a hammering a nail, a car horn, sirens, someone like a shotgun going off. Just like a lot of times they'll react to some sort of high pitched, sharp noise, and that reaction causes that shock gobble. And so you want to do anything to get them to do that doesn't sound like a hen, so they don't get they don't get confused by or they don't think you're a hen. You just want to know where they're at so you can set up accordingly. But yeah, once you do set up, then you want to sound like a hen So they come into you, and eventually, and it's going against what they naturally do. So you're sitting there trying to sound like a hen, trying to get them to get really pissed off and say, like, why is she not coming into me? I'm gonna go find her, because they're, call it in I don't know what the term is for turkey, but for deer it's like a rut mentality. Their testosterone's high. This is breeding time. Why is she not coming into me? So I'm gonna go look for her. And a lot of times you'll use a few different things, but you can have no. Maybe we'll say that for another podcast. All the different stuff to use for setting up the scene for when you call in a tom. But and shooting a Jake is fine too, because most people are after those toms. But people are using decoys. People are using no decoy and just trying to get them in range with some sort of blind around them, or my favorite is to use a you can't use motion, like electronic motion in at least where we hunt in Michigan, but like a wind activated full strutting tom.
Yeah.
Get them fired up. So we'll save that for another podcast though.
And then we're going to save this for another podcast too, but I do just want to touch on this. When the toms are beating the crap out of another decoy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing to use. So they get all fired up and attack it. But
fired up.
So to wrap this up, and then I think next time we can talk about some of the strategy. So there's a reason why I got a tag down in Oakland County, and Justin got one up in Oscoda. We plan to be on each other's hunts.
Yes.
So we can capture all the footage and the do's, don'ts, failures, successes that we have chasing the spring turkey. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. In Oakland County, there's that 100 acres. There are a few flooded areas where I'm, at least last year, positive they were roosting over. And I'm going to go out today, and I'll report back on my findings and where I decided to set cameras up and why. And then Justin's going up to Oscoda on Wednesday. And there's a couple areas that you're pretty sure they're roosting at. But we'll get some cameras up there to report back to, and then figure out areas where we can set up and hopefully ambush the flock as they move through eating food.
Boom. No, I'm really fired up about spring turkey. One of the reason why I mean this, when we were on our way home from Ohio, you got so fired up, and I know there was like, we're both really tired, so it's kind of like when you're slap happy and stuff, but you got so fired up about turkey hunting, and then it got me excited. So it's just something that I'm going to, it's another thing that we're doing. You already were doing it, but we're going to be doing it together. We're going to be filming each other's, our hunts, and just learning and failing and learning some more, and probably failing some more too. So,
oh yeah, we'll get into this next podcast, but it's such a roller coaster of a day, because you creep in, you do your research or you do your homework the night before, you find out where they're at, and then you come back and you get an idea of where you're going to set up, and then it gets dark, and then you got to get out of the woods in the pitch black. And then you got to come back in the pitch black, set up accordingly, and then the calling starts. So in the nighttime, you're locating where they're roosting, and oh my gosh, it's just, I've said it before, it gets the hairs on your arms like standing. You're fired up about it, because the whole woods just, gobble, 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 gobble. It's crazy. And they're all, shot calling back and forth, and the owls going, and it's amazing. And in the morning, you're set up in pitch black, and right before sunrise, you start hearing it again. And then, oh my gosh, and then you're calling back and forth. It's just amazing. And then a lot of times after they're pressured, the daytime, they might not make a sound. And so there's a roller coaster there, because each morning and evening are they're all safe up and roost. And then during the day, depending on the hunting pressure, they might not make a sound. So there's a lot of on the ground, moving, setting up, tearing down, resetting up, spot and stalk. It's a lot of fun. So
yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah, next time for sure. Yeah, no, I'm actually really looking forward to talking some strategies. I mean, it's just I enjoy these conversations, learning. It's exciting.
Well, really and having both of us, like one, yeah, we'll be operating a camera, but at the same time, there's a lot of strategies you can do with like spot stock and then different setups you can do with multiple people calling based on their ability to locate where that call is coming from and having, just there's a lot of stuff that we can get into on strategy there. So how to play openings and funnels and what have you. So
very cool, Brandon.
Cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, do you have anything else, or are you good for?
I'm gonna get out and I'm ready to go right now. I'm gonna get out for the next couple hours and search for some tracks and sign. I hope everybody else is able to do that at some point this week. How I like to start off a Monday.
Yeah, no, great way to start a week. So, Brandon, thanks for the chat, the information. I learned a few things, so I hope everyone else that's listening learned some things. So, you guys, please be sure to check us out on social media at Tracks and Sign. And again, I'm going to keep saying this for those that are listening. If you or someone you know has some knowledge, has some experiences that you would love to, help us understand more and educate us and the rest of our listeners, please reach out to us. Our email, fishhuntfind@tracksandsign.com. And until next time, you guys, we appreciate it. And we appreciate the support and, just make sure you get out in the woods and enjoy. Brandon, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks.